The GLP-1 revolution is here, but not without chaos. A global shortage is making headlines, the FDA is cracking down on compounders, and a brand new weight loss drug is shaking up the market. But wait, there's more. A secret price war is bleeding patients dry. New side effects are raising alarm bells, and researchers are now asking, can these drugs actually slow aging? Buckle up because we're about to expose everything Big Pharma doesn't want you to know. The GLP-1 shortage crisis. Is Big Pharma to blame? Remember when Ozempic and Wegovy were supposed to be the miracle drugs that helped millions lose weight and get healthier? Well, there's just one problem. You can't find them anywhere. That's right. Pharmacies are running out of stock, patients are scrambling, and doctors are left with empty prescription pads. But is this just bad luck? Or is something more sinister at play? The numbers don't lie. Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly have both reported record-breaking profits, but also claim they can't keep up with demand. US prescription rates for GLP-1 medications have doubled in the past year, yet supply chain bottlenecks persist. Some experts suggest artificial scarcity may be a factor, because let's be honest, if a drug is always in short supply, its price never drops. If this sounds familiar, it's because we've seen it before. The pharmaceutical industry has a long history of manufacturing scarcity to maintain pricing power. Think about life-saving insulin, where companies tweak formulations just enough to extend patents and keep generics out of the market. Now, it seems they're using the same playbook with GLP-1 drugs, keeping the demand high and supply conveniently constrained. What's causing the shortage? Manufacturing delays? That's the official excuse, but production has ramped up significantly. Novo Nordisk, for example, expanded its manufacturing capacity, yet shortages persist. Raw material issues. The key ingredient, semaglutide, isn't as rare as Big Pharma makes it seem. Other pharmaceutical companies have expressed interest in producing GLP-1 drugs, but face regulatory and patent barriers that keep competition low. A controlled rollout. By keeping supply tight, pharmaceutical giants maintain power over pricing and availability. Limited availability allows them to strategically introduce new formulations at a premium price while restricting access to older versions. Meanwhile, desperate patients are turning to compounding pharmacies for alternatives. But that's where the next controversy begins. FDA cracks down on compound tirzepatide, what it means for you. If you thought you could just sidestep Big Pharma's pricing games with a compounded version of Mounjaro, think again. The FDA is not having it. Recent crackdowns and lawsuits are threatening to shut down many compounding pharmacies producing generic versions of tirzepatide. What's happening? The FDA has issued warning letters to multiple compounding pharmacies, claiming they are violating regulations by selling unauthorized versions of tirzepatide. Legal battles are unfolding over whether compounders can legally produce GLP-1 medications under existing compounding laws. Big Pharma is pushing regulators to clamp down on alternatives, effectively forcing patients back into their pricing monopoly. Pharmaceutical companies argue that compounded versions of GLP-1 medications may not meet the same safety and efficacy standards as FDA-approved drugs. However, patients who have successfully used these alternatives argue that they are the only affordable option available, especially for those without insurance coverage. With brand-name GLP-1 drugs costing upwards of $1,000 per month, many patients are left with a difficult choice: go without treatment or seek compounded alternatives. Meanwhile, compounding pharmacies are fighting back, claiming they are legally allowed to produce medications when shortages exist. Some are even taking the FDA to court, arguing that the agency is unfairly siding with big pharmaceutical companies over patient needs. As the legal battle continues, patients remain in limbo, unsure of whether they will be able to access affordable alternatives in the future. New GLP-1 weight loss drug. just approved better than Ozempic. Just when you thought the weight loss market couldn't get crazier, a new GLP-1 drug has entered the chat. More expensive weight loss drugs. At the end of the day, the latest contender that claims to be even more effective than Ozempic. How does it compare? Better weight loss results. Early trials suggest it may outperform semaglutide. Fewer side effects. Researchers claim it has a lower risk of nausea and muscle loss. Cheaper? Don't get your hopes up. Pricing is still under wraps, but expect another hefty price tag. With every new approval, the weight loss market becomes more competitive. But are we any closer to affordable solutions? That brings us to our next issue, the GLP-1 price war. Excited? Let's break it down. How does it compare? Better weight loss results. Early clinical trials indicate this new drug may provide even greater reductions in body weight compared to semaglutide. Some patients in trials lost up to 25% of their body weight, surpassing Ozempic and Mounjaro. Fewer side effects. One of the biggest complaints with existing GLP-1 drugs is nausea, vomiting, and gastrointestinal issues. This new drug reportedly has a lower rate of these side effects, meaning more patients may be able to tolerate it for the long term. Different mechanism? While it still targets GLP-1 receptors, it may have an additional pathway that boosts metabolism and reduces appetite more effectively. Cheaper? Don't get your hopes up. While pricing hasn't been officially revealed, early estimates suggest it will cost just as much, if not more, than its competitors. With every new approval, the weight loss market becomes more competitive. But are we any closer to affordable solutions? Or are we just being introduced to a new era of even more expensive weight loss drugs? At the end of the day, the introduction of this drug could mean more options for patients. But without price control measures, it could just add another sky-high price tag to an already costly industry. And that brings us to our next issue, the GLP-1 price war. The secret GLP-1 price war. Who's really profiting off your prescription? If you think the price of GLP-1 meds is out of control, you're not wrong. But who's actually getting rich off this? Spoiler alert, it's not the patients or the doctors. The key players, pharmaceutical companies, Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly are raking in billions from these drugs. Ozempic and Mounjaro are now among the top-selling medications globally, bringing in tens of billions in annual revenue. And guess what? They're still increasing prices. Insurance companies. Some insurers are refusing to cover GLP-1 meds, making patients pay out of pocket. Others require complex approval processes, making it incredibly difficult for the average person to access these drugs without a fight. PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers. These shadowy middlemen control which drugs get preferred insurance coverage. They negotiate secret deals with pharma companies and take a massive cut of the profits without patients even realizing it. What makes this situation even worse? Price disparities. A GLP-1 drug that costs over $1,000 per month in the US sells for a fraction of the price in other countries. Why? Because pharmaceutical companies charge as much as they can get away with, and the US healthcare system allows it. Generic versions could drastically lower the price, but Big Pharma is doing everything in its power to block them. They argue it's about patient safety, but let's be real, it's about keeping their billion-dollar monopoly intact. And until something changes, patients will keep paying the price, literally. GLP-1 medications reverse aging, the science says. And now, the twist no one saw coming. Could GLP-1 medications actually slow down aging? It sounds like science fiction, but emerging research suggests there might be something to it. New research shows GLP-1 drugs reduce inflammation, which is a major driver of aging. Chronic inflammation is linked to heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and cancer, all of which accelerate the aging process. Some studies suggest they may improve cellular repair and increase longevity by activating key metabolic pathways. This could mean better energy production, improved immune function, and even enhanced brain health. Potential benefits for brain health, including reducing Alzheimer's risk. Some research suggests that these medications may help clear toxic proteins from the brain, which could lower the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. Blood sugar stability. By keeping blood sugar levels in check, GLP-1 drugs may reduce the risk of metabolic diseases, which are heavily tied to aging-related decline. Could these drugs be the ultimate anti-aging hack? The science is still early, but the results so far are intriguing. If GLP-1 drugs truly have anti-aging properties, this could change the entire medical landscape. But don't expect Big Pharma to make them cheap anytime soon. Conclusion: what this means for you. The GLP-1 industry is evolving at breakneck speed. Shortages, legal battles, price wars, side effects, and even anti-aging potential. But one thing is clear: the stakes have never been higher. Whether you're someone struggling to afford these medications, a doctor navigating the latest research, or just someone watching the weight loss industry unfold, there's no denying that GLP-1 drugs are reshaping healthcare. The question is, who truly benefits? Patients or the pharmaceutical companies pulling the strings? So, what do you think? Are these drugs worth the hype, or is Big Pharma just running another billion-dollar monopoly? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the latest industry scandals.